And hello everybody, and today's topic is the class project that people have asked me some questions about it and I would like to fill you in. Okay, first of all, here we have the first slide. It has class project all by itself in the center of it and nothing around it. Some of you may feel like the class project at this point resembled this slide. Let me fill in a little bit of the background on that to help you out here. Okay, here's my outline. Tell you why we're doing this. I got a little scenario to help you orient your thinking, give you some timeline considerations, and I'll tell you what the deliverables are. Okay, the objectives. Basically, what I'm trying to do is when you're sitting there discussing ideas at work and somebody stabs their finger in the air and said, hey, let's just make a database that does all of this, that you will know what goes into that and you will be able to effectively respond to that. With the knowledge in this class, you should be able to effectively respond in that. The only thing else you might need is some ping pong balls or Nerf balls, because probably after you get done actually making a database, when somebody suggests that, you're probably want to go throw something at them, and Nerf balls or ping pong balls will get you in the least amount of trouble. Okay, a couple of highlights here is, in addition to teaching you the technical end of a database, I'm going to incorporate some basic project management like you should see out in the corporate world. Alright, here's a scenario. Got a lot of words there. Basically, there we were minding our own business and COVID hit. We were out of a job. Company carried us for a while, but they say you got to do something. Okay, we have one of those infamous meetings with the chief executive officer when they start talking out and they start with my friends and colleagues. You know, generally what happens after that never is good. Alright, so basically we got to try to put something out that they can sell for us by Thanksgiving. And we have our personal computers and we have Apex accounts, and that's it, unless you can find something else. Alright, for this scenario, I'm your first line manager. Need you to break up into 1 to 3 student groups and come up with something that you can program and sell, then program and sell it. And let me put my best voice on at this point. Our future employment is in your hands. Okay. You've got 11 weeks to the end of the class. And here's your main steps. That project charter, that's a one-page deal. I'm giving you a simplified one. You should try to get that back pretty quickly. Basically, you're going to tell me what you're going to do and who's going to be working on it with you. Product design, that's where you determine what the database is supposed to do and what its structure is. In the product building's testing, that's where you get the fun part, where you actually start busting code. My experience has been, no matter how long you allocate for that out of the total steps, you always want more time, so you want to move through the other two as quickly and deliberately as possible. Now, there is an additional consideration that you're really not going to know enough to actually start doing the programming until about week 7 or 8, unless you've had some previous experience. If you've had some previous experience and you're working in a group, I don't know if you want to let everybody else know that, because you might find yourself carrying the rest of the group. But anyway, that's for you to work out with your group. Okay, I'll go through the deliverables. These are the things that you will give to me as intermediate products plus the final product. First thing is the project charter. In a corporate situation, this gets you funds and gets you staffing. That is the lifeblood. If you don't have funding and don't have staffing, if you don't have an office, you're looking for a new job. Another thing it does, it establishes what's in scope and what's out of scope. That's very important. You never want to hand a user a blank check, because they'll break your bank. Okay, these can run pages and pages and pages. For this, I think we will just have a simplified one-pager. Need to kind of get that done. Need to form your team, decide what you're going to do fairly quickly. Okay, the next thing is this functional specification. That's going to require a little thought. Basically, you outline at a basic level what the software is supposed to do. For example, if you are doing an inventory program, it should keep track of inventory, it should give you reports. You should be able to receive equipment. You should be able to destroy or sell equipment. You need things in and things out. One of the quickest way to do this is to come up with brainstorm a list of use cases. A use case is one user using your program for one purpose. For example, for a human resource program, you would have enter new employee, retire employee, get list of current employees, things like that. You really need to have this pretty much figured out but before you start programming, because this is how you determine the next deliverable, which is the work breaks down structure, or WBIS as it's called. This is who, what, and when does things. This is where you, if you're working in the group, this is where you determine who's doing what and you divvy out the work. It shows how the tasks interrelate, and everybody generally chimes in pretty good. I've been on a lot of phone calls for these. Everybody generally chimes in pretty good, and everybody offers their wisdom on it. Now, that next part is where the fights start. Putting the rows on somebody that you will do this by a certain date. That can get fun at times, but it's got to be done. One of the things I would suggest is to factor in your learning curve. For most people, I would say do not plan on doing any substantial programming until after about the 7th or 8th week of this course. That is to say, let's see, sometime in October. Okay, ERD is an entity relationship diagram. We'll cover those in week 7. I'll tell you all about those. You need to have one of those for your database. Now, this does not require a lot of technical expertise. This doesn't require the detailed knowledge of SQL and all that. You can get this done before you learn all the technical stuff you got to learn, but it won't be too quickly before. Okay, the final project. You need to have a package. It's the completed database, an application which accesses the database. If you use your Apex, you just tell me it's there because I can get in there and I can look at it. If you decide to go with something like a work application from your work or from a club, I need to be able to get into it and look at it to give you a grade. That may be a problem. All depends. Alright, I accidentally said everything should be working and running properly, but that may be appropriate. Everything should be working and running properly. Everything should be working and running properly. That's where your test protocol comes in handy. Not so much that it's going to make sure everything runs 100%, but then you got some sort of backup when something fails that, hey, I did 99 checks and that wasn't one of them. And everybody's favorite slide. Thank you.